Hello, hello, hello. Much love, peace, beautiful day, everyone. All that may hear this, whether you hear it now live or you hear it later. Um, I'm just wanting to do a quick live, hopefully no longer than 30 minutes, but we'll see how the conversation goes and if anybody joins the live. But if not, I'm going to say what I have to say and move along and move forward with my day. And so, with that being said, I'm going to say this like always. Excuse me, like always, I am not a medical professional, okay? I am not a licensed therapist. I'm not a licensed counselor, psychiatrist, doctor, a registered nurse, or anything like that, okay? I may speak about throughout this, live, I may speak about healing, natural healing remedies, whether it's physically, for our bodies, for our mind, for our soul, with dealing with essential oils, herbs, uh, the power of sound healing, and things like that. So if you have any questions about you and your own situation, please contact your own primary care physician for yourself or your little ones. Okay. Always got to put that out there. We're just here sharing and exchanging information and, going through this life together and learning from each other and growing and expanding in our experiences. And we do that by self reflection, we do that by our own lived experiences. And we also do that by learning from one another. At least I know I do. And so right now I'm the only one in here. So I don't know if I'm being heard. I'm just gonna go with it. And as you come in, anybody, if you come in, let me know if I'm being heard. So I was sitting down a little bit ago. I had no intention, honestly, of going live today. I had no intention of wanting to do anything on the internet except for maybe look up this recipe and then go about my day. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this because this is like my last slow, really free day. And then coming next week and on through the next few weeks and beyond, it's going to be a really big, really busy time for myself and my family here. I don't know when I'm going to go live again. So I was like, this is a good time. And I was sitting down and I was thinking and I was reflecting on um, myself and the things that I have spoken um, about myself and about others. And I am not, by any means, I am not a perfect person. I'm going to put that out there. I am not a perfect person. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to turn on the camera because last week or whenever I did the other live, I turned on the camera and it was so choppy and it was so bad. So I'm going to stick to not keeping on the camera, okay? But anyway, I'm sitting down and I'm reflecting as I'm drinking my coffee and looking outside. Some of the things that I've said to people and things that people have said to me and things that people have said about me or about others. And I was thinking, overall, don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect person. I've said things that I didn't mean. Um, I've said things that I'm pretty sure that have hurt somebody um, with no intention of hurting them. But I've said some things, we're soul beings having a human experience. So nobody is perfect and nobody is without fault. And nobody can walk through this life on this journey without hurting people. We hurt one another. And there's a difference, I think, between hurting someone. We all do it. We all have done it, but we don't, I want to believe that the majority of the people do not intentionally hurt people because I don't go out of my way to intentionally hurt people. That's just me. That's just facts. But I know I've hurt people and I know my words maybe have hurt someone or hurt someone's feelings, but I'm maybe not even the way, maybe not even the words, but the way I said them. And so I was thinking about that and I was thinking about certain things. I always tell my children, and I've said this on the channel so many times, we have got to be mindful about what we say about ourselves and what we say and what we speak on other people. I always tell my children, you got to be careful who you're putting your mouth on and how you're putting your mouth on them. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm looking at situations, either I've lived through these situations, or I witnessed these situations, or I have witnessed situations where people have spoken so bad about someone else, and that's all they do. It's just, and the outcome for that person or that situation is always negative, whether it happens within, like, right then and there as they're speaking, such bad words about someone, or they have such ill intentions for someone, or whether it happens a week later, a month later, or a year down the line. Those of you who want to grow in this, you'll understand. And so I'm watching in real time, in an own personal experience for myself, and then I've also witnessed where two things happen when it comes to that. Two things happen in that situation. Either the person will experience, because you are putting out energy. We put out energy in the words and intentions that we give, whether people like that or not. We put out energy in the words that, in the intentions that we put out, for ourselves and for other people. And so if it's always negative, if it's just always negative, if the majority of what you speak and what you think and what you project and what you put out there is negative towards yourself or towards other people, or even the thoughts that you have people who will smile in your face and be like, da 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 da, oh girl, or hey, you doing it, boy, I'm so proud of you, or say I'm there for you. But deep down within them, they have the intention of negativity and ill will towards you. That you're still putting that out there, because you still have that energy, and you're putting it out there, and you're masking it with false words of praise and of positivity and false love. But your intentions are far from your words. So that's how that goes. So either what you put out is what you get back. That's what I feel. That's what I know. And I'm going to stick to that, because that's what I know on my journey. If you know something else, or if it's another way for you, share, please. But when you do that, it comes back either to where everybody or the people around you can see the energy that you put out, and you step into. You're walking in that energy that you put out, whether you put that energy out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You put that energy out, and it all depends on the intensity, your belief, how much you dwell on these thoughts, how much you think about these things, whether positive or negative. That you're going to live in that, and people are going to bear witness to that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then there's the other kind. There's the other where you live out your words, you live out what you've spoken over people, you live that out, and you put up a facade. People put up a facade. I truly, truly hope I'm being heard. I really, really hope I'm being heard. Hold on just a second. I really hope I'm being heard. But anyway, and then you put up a facade. You put up a facade, and to the outside world, you're living a life, but your ill intentions and the way you have treated people, the way you've talked about people, the way you have thought about people, it may appear that like you have everything going on great within yourself, but within your mind, within the walls of your heart, those caverns within yourself, you are broken, you are hurt, you are full of guilt, you're full of shame, you're full of all these low vibrational energies, you're full of grief, fear, maybe anger, all of these things, and you live out that energy that way. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. It was making sense when I was sitting here thinking about it and reflecting. And I was like, I'm going to go and share this for anybody that wants to hear it. You know, I want to grow. I don't want to be stagnant, and I don't want to be in the same spot that I was in like a year ago. I want to look back and reflect in 2026 that I'm different, that I've changed, and I've changed for the better. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, oops, hold on just a second. Anyway, I have some quotes, and then I'm going to call it a day. I really feel like it's important, even if one person takes something from this. I really feel like it's important for the health of our mental health, our energetic health, our spiritual health, and our physical well-being, and our how we create and how we manifest, to be mindful of the things that we say. Is it always easy? No. But it is so important to be mindful of the things that you say about yourself and the things that you say about other people. So here's my first quote. Never underestimate the power of intention. Your thoughts, your words, they are the keys or the chains, the shackles to your future. I'm going to say that one more time. That hit me hard. That hit me in a way where I want to sit down and I want to reflect on my words. Never underestimate the power of intention. Your thoughts, your words, they are the keys or the chains or shackles to your future. Okay? Let that sink in. You are either liberating yourself or being bound by your words. Nobody else's. Okay. The second quote. The power of words dwell in their intentions. We've all heard that. Maybe I used to be, a Christian, and I forgot what verse it was, the biblical text. Hold on just a second. Oops. Hold on just a second. Okay. The biblical text where it says there is life and power within the tongue, something like that. It's not a direct quote. So please forgive me. Or the power of life and death dwells in the tongue, or something like that. But the power of the words dwell in their intentions. It's not just the words alone. It's your intention. It's the intensity of your intention that's behind the words that give your words power. You know what I'm saying? That give your words power. Okay? And that can be power to uplift. That can be power to build, power to create, power to mindful manifest positive things in your life, change in your life by speaking well of yourself, having affirmations. And I on my self-love journey, because we all need self-love. Like I always say, self-love is the best love, self-love is the best love. And so we're on this journey. So it's very important to speak lovingly to yourself. It's very important to nurture yourself. We go and we go outside of ourselves, and we give and give and give and give to other people, to everyone else around us. And we neglect ourselves. We give all the bread, the loaves of bread and everything to everyone else, and we take the breadcrumbs for ourselves many times. It's very important to feed back into yourself. Anyway, here's the other quote. And yes, words matter. They may reflect reality, but they also have the power to change reality, the power to uplift, and the power to abuse. I love this quote. I'm going to read it again. And yes, words matter. They may reflect reality, but they also have the power to change reality, the power to uplift, and the power to abuse. Your words have the power to uplift and change yourself, not only yourself in your own situation or your thought process in a situation, you know, like like we talk about all the time. There is no way you're going to get through this life and not go through anything. Your life is continuous cycles of ups and downs, you know, going through different storms and getting out of the storm and seeing the rainbow, going through a storm, however big or small. You know what I'm saying? But how we react in those storms, we have the power to control. We may not control the storm, but we have the power to how we act in the storms. And yes, your words matter. They may also reflect your reality, but they also have the power to change reality, the power to uplift reality, the power to uplift and abuse. You have the power within your tongue, within your mouth, within these things that our teeth sit in, to uplift yourself and to uplift someone else. And you have the power to break someone down with your words. Been there, done that. I've allowed people's words to break me or get me to a broken point because they use their words for abuse. They use their words to get ahead. They use their words to make themselves feel better at the expense of taking power back, taking power from someone else. Much love to anybody that's in here. I see a few people coming in and out, in and out. Appreciate you, even if it's for 5 seconds. I hope and desire that I'm being heard. But anyway, we have the power to uplift and help ourselves, uplift ourselves, but we have the power to uplift and help others uplift themselves when it's hard. When we're in these positions of darkness, when we're in these positions where we feel down and we feel like other people don't understand, that's one reason, and pretty much the only reason why I'm on YouTube and why I took that long break. And then I came back because I said, I have a voice. I want to use my voice. I want to help humanity in the best way that I can. I know the best way for me, and one of my powers, one of my weapons in this matrix is my voice, and is my heart, and my passion for healing, my passion for people to know their worth, my passion for people to understand and to know that your pain is temporary. That as many things that this matrix throws at us, you can throw things my way. Yeah, I might get slowed down. Sometimes I may turn around and miss my step. But it's voices like mine that I've listened to on here that made me say, hey, I have the strength, I have the courage and endurance to go on and to heal and move about and move forward. So I want to use my voice in a positive way. I want to use my voice for my own self-healing. I speak these words, and when I'm on here and in these lives and when I'm doing this, I speak these words out loud, but I'm speaking them to myself. It's a reminder to myself. It's a reminder to myself, as well as anybody else that hears me, anybody else that's listening, anybody else that that can relate to me. Hold on just a second. There we go. Anybody else that can relate to me. Even if it's one person, I feel like that's how we make changes on this plane of existence. Our energy, our intentions, our vibrations are everything. We're so used to seeing everybody with boots on the ground and in your face and doing this and doing that without even doing the work on ourselves. Without examining the words that we speak about ourselves or about other people. But I'm looking at people and I'm looking at different situations and circumstances where all certain people or all all these people that I see, I'm not, there's not any particular situation that I'm thinking of now. I'm thinking of quite a few that I've been a part of, that I've witnessed, or that I've seen from afar, where all these people do is spit out negativity about other people, about their life, about how they live their life. What's that saying? You need to sweep your own front porch or something before you sweep somebody else's. People haven't swept their front porches, but speaking such ill negativity on people and situations in other people's life, and they have no idea. And then when you speak those words, when you're projecting that energy goes out with your energetic thumbprint, with your energetic soul print, however you want to. And what you speak is what you get in return. Before you speak, remember the impact of your words can heal or they can harm. They can heal or they can harm the people around you, your friends, your family, your husband, your wife, your partner. If you don't have husband or wife, your significant other, your partner, your children. Oh my gosh. I've taken care of so many children. I've been in situations where I've known, as a child, looking at other people, or I've known people where their parents literally have said, I never wanted you. Speaking these words over and over and over and over again. And it's not it's not like, oh, it happened once. It's something that was repetitive, and the children were made to feel like they weren't wanted. And that baby, that child grows up with its own set of problems that I won't get into, all because of someone's words, all because of someone's intention, all because of someone's projection, all because of unhealed trauma within themselves. So that's why I will never stop speaking about self-love and our self-love journey and our healing journey, because we are forever on that journey. We are forever on that self-love journey. We are forever on that self-healing journey. I'm on my journey. I'm not there. There are things that trigger me. As far as I've come on my healing journey, especially within the past, like starting 5 years ago up until now, I've come so far, but there are things that trigger me and trigger those emotions. And I'm acknowledging, these things and trying to heal these things. But then there are things that trigger those things, and I slip back. I go, oh my gosh, I need to be picked back up again. I need to speak love and life within myself. I need to check myself with my words. And so that's why I come on here. Sometimes I come on here and I re-listen to what I have to say. Even if only 10 people tuned in, I re-listen to those words, because sometimes I need to remember, because we're all on self-love journeys. Some of us have not left the start line because they're too busy turning around, looking at everybody else and talking about using their power of words to talk about other people, to break down other people, instead of building themselves up, instead of building other people up and helping other people, as we're all on this journey together. This system, this matrix system, does a really good job of breaking us down. And it's sad that we collectively, as humanity, I'm not saying individuals, but we collectively as humanity break people down with the smallest things. Oh, you doing this, you doing that. That's why that's happening in your life. Meanwhile, not knowing what you're speaking, you're building, you're putting that energy out there, and you're going to step back into that energy. That energy is going to meet you again. And on the flip side, people who are continuously doing great things, who, no matter, in spite of everything that you're going through, you put out loving energy, you put your heart out, you put your kindness out there, no matter what you're going through. And you may not get recognized for it. You may be like, whatever, but I'm telling you, as a witness, whenever you're going through that storm, Those kind acts that only you and the person you did it for, you did it to, in the universe, those energies, you step back into that energy. You step back into the words that you spoke, that you uplifted someone. You step back into that, and it will show in ways. It could be, if you're going through financially, it could show up in ways where things are happening for you financially, and you're like, oh my gosh. Or if your car breaks down, and you're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden somebody shows up, or you need this and you don't have the funds for that, and all of a sudden somebody contacts you. This has happened to me repeatedly, and they're like, I have this, I don't need it no more. Not even thinking. It's because that energy you put out. You might not see it then, that energy and the words that you speak to people, but you step into it. All of us, we all step into it. What are you stepping into? What am I stepping into? These are the things that I was thinking about and I was reflecting on, and the reason why I came and did this live and wanted to share. Here's another quote. I have about 3 more quotes, and then I'm gonna get off of here. Oh wow, it's already 1:16. Much love to the few people that are here. Much love to those who will listen to this later. Thank you guys so much for your time and your energy and your attention. Those are valuable, and I appreciate it. Words are containers for power. You choose what kind of power they carry. You choose what kind of power your words carry. Like I just spoke about, like we just talked about. You get to choose what type of energy is and intentions are behind your words for yourself and for everyone else. If you're constantly not taking accountability for yourself, responsibility for yourself, and if you're constantly putting yourself down, that's what you're going to produce. Because those are the energies you're putting out and inviting back into you. Been there, done that. I'm not saying anything that I haven't done on myself, where I was in a situation where I just felt like I was so dark and so down and depressed, and those were the energies I was putting out. And then I was wearing that facade, I was wearing that mask, pretending that everything was okay. And my words that I was speaking to myself was, I'm worthless. Nobody views me for anything except for to be used, except for to take from. I'm not worth anything to anyone, excuse me, unless I'm giving. I put the energy, excuse me, get a drink. I put the energy of not being worth anything or very little out there with my words, thinking and thinking on those thoughts. And what happened? That's what I got. The next quote. Your words carry power. Use them wisely. Speak with intention. Let your words show love, create connections, and inspired action. This is my opinion. Some people may be like, I am an ill-willed person. I don't give a care about you. I don't care about humanity. I don't care about this world. I don't care. You can use your words to create that within for yourself, your universe, and what's around you. I want to create loving connections. Authentic loving connections, okay? Authentic loving connections. I'm going to rephrase that. Authentic loving connections. And that quote is by Dana Grant. Oh my goodness, I have not been saying who the quotes were. I wrote them down. I'm sorry. That quote was by Dana Grant. Your words carry power. Use them wisely. Speak with intention. Let your words show love, create connections, and inspire action. I love that quote. Here's the last one, and this quote is from me. I'm not saying somebody somewhere hadn't said this, but I never heard this. I wrote this down a long while ago for myself. And it goes, the words and intentions you speak today are building the path you will walk along in your future. I'm gonna say that one again. And this is a reminder. I think of this quote and I think about this when, when people around me start gossiping or start talking about people. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't like gossiping. I don't like talking about people. I would rather use my time and my energy on something else, because I don't know about y'all, but when people are talking and gossiping about people, it drains my energy. It brings me down. And I'm sitting there like, I got nothing from this conversation. I broke somebody down when I don't know the whole story of their situation or why they're acting like this. And especially, you're breaking people down. And I'm like, I don't like gossiping. I don't like it. And that's probably why I don't have that many friends. I don't like gossiping. I want to build, not break down. That's to me, that's a construct. One of the many constructs of this matrix system is gossiping, is because it's a breaking down. It's a backbiting. It's a tearing up someone on an energetic level, especially if it's somebody that's not present and can set the story straight. I do not like gossiping. Even if it benefits me, I don't like gossiping. I'm going to say that again. The words and intentions you speak today are building the path you will walk along in your future. And I'm seeing that with people. I've seen that with myself positively. I've seen that with other people who've dealt with me in such a negative way. I've seen that with my own dealing with my own self and speaking negativity over my own self. Let me put myself out there. Let me put myself out there. Speaking negatively about me. And not saying I've never gossiped. That would be a lie. That's why I just said, when I said in times past, decades past, I had a friend back in the day, and this friend would just call, and just all this friend would do was just talk bad about one particular person. I'm like, okay, I would try to steer the conversation. I would try to do this and try to do that. And the conversation, we would steer away and start talking about something else, like laughing, clowning, laughing, and then the conversation would always end up back at this person. And I'm like, I am not being fulfilled. If you got a problem with this person, please tell them. Don't be talking about them and then be in their face, ha ha, hee hee. Be careful with your words, because I've seen people who are walking on the very path that they built for themselves when they were breaking down somebody else. You're breaking down someone else, but you're building a path of brokenness, of misfortune, of hurt, of pain. Those things that you were projecting and saying about other people or other situations, whether, like I said, whether it's a week or 2 or 3 later or years later, you have to walk that path. I have to walk that path. I encourage everybody, be mindful with your words and your actions and intentions for yourself and other people. Before you, let's see, I forgot. It was a song by India Arie. I love her. It was a song by India Arie, and she was like, the words that I'm not saying it right, but she pretty much said a line that said, the words that you speak, you're the first to hear. I'm the first to hear these words. I'm the first to hear these words. And I'm not talking about when you're speaking your truth. Let me backtrack. When you're speaking your truth, when you're out, you have people who are out here sharing their truth and sharing their journey and how people wrote themselves in your story, and you're speaking, and you're not speaking in a like backbiting way, but you're like, for myself, as an example, those of you that know, I speak on my abusive previous marriage, what it did to me, how it broke me, but also it's part of my journey and story to share on my healing journey. I'm not speaking about that, or we're speaking when we're talking about the people in this matrix system and things like that are holding us back purposefully, whether financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, things like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you just going around talking about everybody and not paying attention to yourself. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. Like I said, this is mainly for me. I will go back and I will listen to myself. And it's another way for me to pour into myself, for me to remember as I'm cleaning up. I used to not do that, but I started doing that about a year ago, where I would go back and I was like, hey, I remember when I did that live, it hit me. I didn't realize. And sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't realize what I said. And I get lessons from myself as well as other people and their experiences, whether positive or negative. I have learned from other people. That's why I say there are so many teachers out there. When people say you can't learn, I can learn from the worst person. I can learn from the person that maybe hates me the most. You know, you can learn from everybody and everything. You can learn from people. You can learn from nature. You can learn from every. There's opportunity to learn. Are you willing to learn? That's the question. Are we willing to learn and grow? We talk a lot about stagnation. I don't want to be stagnant. I spent about a decade being stagnant, and it almost broke me. You cannot grow anything truthfully and honestly in stagnant water. There's no moving energies. And that's another thing about stagnation, that you hold and you keep the same energies. You hold and you keep. And this all makes sense. You know, we're talking about the power of our words and intentions. And that goes with energies. There's a lot of people, and I've been there, staying stagnant, and those energies don't go anywhere. It just circulates. It just circulates because there's no room for growth. That's why I say there's no true growth, authentic growth in stagnation. You've got to be able to rip those dams apart and flow through them waters, whether they're calm waters, whether they're the rapid waters of the rivers of our life, and be willing to change. Be willing to stand, be willing to bend and twist, be willing to look at ourselves and what we're doing wrong, what we're not doing wrong, what we're doing right. It's about growth. At least for me, it's about growth and expansion for me. I don't want to be the same person that I was a year ago. I don't want to be the same woman I was 5 years ago. I tell my partner, I don't want to love him the way I loved him when we first got together. I don't want us to look back in 15, 20 years and be like, oh, I love you just the same like I loved you, 15 years ago. No, there's so much opportunity for growth and to deepen that love. There's so much room, and not even just for your partner, for your children. Hell, the most important person, for yourself. I don't want to love myself the way that I loved or lacked self-love for myself 10 years ago. Because self-love was very minute for me 10 years ago. And I had nobody's boundaries, okay? I had nobody's healthy boundaries 10 years ago. I didn't know what a healthy boundary was. I did not know what a boundary was if it slapped me on my forehead, okay? So I don't want to be that same. I don't want to keep doing the same thing. Do y'all remember being in school? Who wanted to go to school, go through all these lessons, and then fail because you didn't do the work, you didn't you didn't put in the time and effort. You so busy going to school talking about lollygagging and laughing and joking it up to everybody else, worried about what this person is doing, and you're paving your road for your future. And at the end of the school year, other people, other individuals on their path are growing, have developed, are moving forward, are graduating, and you got to do it all again. Why? Because you didn't pay attention to yourself. You're so busy gossiping. You're so busy talking. You're so busy being bitter. You're so busy in your stagnation. You're so busy in your energy and not willing to change and blaming everybody else. And other people are growing. Other people are moving ahead. And then people look at other people that are moving ahead, not knowing the fight that they had to go within themselves and maybe other people around them to get themselves in the position that they're in. They just see the position. So then you have people who are not growing, who are stagnant, that are hating on people who are growing, who are healing, who are putting in the time and effort to do so. That makes no sense to me. You're looping and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then blaming everybody else because you keep going in a circle and other people are like, here's the exit point. And you are so busy looking to the left and looking at everybody else and not truly going within yourself. This is a rediscovery of self, this journey, this life that we live. Mm-mm-mm. My word, my word. I've said so much. It's already 40 minutes. I'm truly hoping that I was heard. Um, Most important thing, be mindful of your words so you can grow. Be mindful of your words. So when you're building the path for your future, you won't be on rocky grounds. When you're speaking positively about yourself and others and standing in truth, being authentic and doing the work and for healing, for growth for yourself. Because like I always say, if people want change on this plane of existence, everybody wants to go out and just be a soldier and say, we go do this. Coming from myself, being an ex-soldier, you had to learn how to be a soldier first. I had to work on myself and my skills. They didn't just give me an N16 and say, go out, it's time to do the fight. No, I had to push myself. I had to train in things and activities that I had no idea about. I would have got killed. If a person can get killed by just picking up a weapon and not having any idea how to use it, not having any idea how to maintain it, not having any training physically, emotionally, doing these things. You getting outside time, I'm gonna be a soldier, I'm to change the world, but you are still the same person, that hurt, broken person that you were 15, 20 years ago. You're still holding on to guilt. I know a few people in my life that are holding on to guilt. And they are guilty, holding on to guilt from 15, 20 years ago that they've done to other people, but they continuously keep doing the same thing and say, I feel so guilty, but they don't make a change. Or angry and bitter about something 20 years ago. So you have to work on yourself as an individual. Getting back to being a soldier, I had to train. You have to train. And that training, nobody else is going to do the training for you. We talk about that, how this matrix system, we're in a war. We're in a war and fighting for our souls, fighting for our humanity, fighting for our rights, fighting for this. But you can't go into that battle unaware of yourself. We have so many people that spend so much time studying the enemy or studying other things and putting their words and efforts and intentions and energy on other things and not on themselves. This all goes back to self-love. This all goes back to learning and growing within yourself. Sunkiss, this is a reminder to you. If don't nobody else get anything from this, this is a reminder to me, Sunkiss. The work is within myself. The work is healing myself. The work is forgiving myself. The work is not being bitter within myself. The work is letting go. Yes, I may have scars. Yes, I may have been broken down in that moment, but I'm not a broken person. And it made me better. It made me wiser. It made you better. It made you wiser. Grow from your experiences. Grow from those storms. Don't be stagnant. Don't get stuck doing the race again. Don't get stuck being in the same place for 15 years and then hating on people who are moving forward. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of your actions and intentions toward people. Are you going to have perfect days all the time? Heck no. That's why it's a journey. That's why it's something that's continuous. Like I said at the beginning, You are on a healing journey. I'm on a healing journey. And sometimes there are trigger moments, and you go back, but you don't. And like I always say, acknowledge those emotions. Acknowledge them. Don't push them under the rug. Acknowledge those not so nice, those dark, negative, what we call emotions. Acknowledge them, but don't live in them. Being positive is not being happy. Like, it's not like saying nothing will happen to you. It's knowing that it's temporary. It's knowing and seeing the blessings even within the storm. At least for me. Other people's experiences may be different. I can't speak on other people's experiences. I can only speak on my lived experiences. And if my lived experiences can help inspire, if the words that I speak can help inspire and encourage and build somebody up, like somebody's words helped build me up when I was at my lowest, when other people were using their words to break me down, to tear me up, to get satisfaction from other people's pain and hurt. Somebody's words lifted me up. Whether those words, a lot of those words came from my own babies, my own children. They didn't even know that they were speaking life into me. What are you going to do with your words? Are you going to speak life? Liberation from the chains of the matrix systems, and those chains are heavy. And there are many systems within this system. What are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your words, with your intentions? Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Just please remember, be mindful. Take time to reflect before you're about to say something crazy to somebody. Sometimes take time to reflect. Think about your words. Your words you're the first to hear. And don't beat yourself up if you stumble. Like I said, we're on a journey. Okay? We're not at the finish line. I do wish the best for you all. I wish peace, love, prosperity, joy, harmony, healing for those who receive it from me. If you don't receive it, throw it back at me, and I'll throw it to people who want to receive it. And I speak this over myself and the platform here. Anybody who's coming in here with ill intentions, I throw that back at you on yourself, your life experiences. I don't accept that. And so be mindful about your intentions when you come to this platform, because I throw it back on your life if it's not uplifting, if it's not positive, or you're sharing your experiences to help uplift people. If you come in here because you hate me, to sit there and watch me and be like, what? I throw it back at you. Or you hate somebody else that's here, I throw it back at you. Be careful. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, I don't know when I'm going to do another live again, especially starting tomorrow. My life here with my little family here is picking up. It's been picking up, and I'm not going to be here a lot, going here and there and doing various things. And I just wanted to take this time this afternoon because I was reflecting and I had the time, and I said, I want to put this out there, do a live, because it's going to be a few weeks, maybe a month or so or two. I don't know before I'm able to do a live, but I will put some shorts out there. I like those shorts, and I know some people don't like when people react to other shorts, but those things are inspirational for me. And so if it's inspiring and if it's healing, if what somebody else says inspires me, and that's a way that I can share it, I'm going to share it. And I want people to see my reaction to it. So I'm not doing that to get clout. I just want to share. I want healing for everyone. I want growth, and I want us to live in the power that is within us, that has been taken from us. We are more than what we have been told, everybody. But that's a different story for another time. You guys have a beautiful Sunday. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Those that tuned in, that came in for 5 seconds and left, much love to you. I appreciate those 5 seconds. Those who bounced in and out, and those who will see this in the future, My desire is that it helps you in some type of way. Take your rose petals. You might not agree with me with everything, but please take your rose petals that will help you and leave the thorns at the door. Remember, self-love is the best love, and make sure that you are overflowing in yours. Much love. Mwah. Until we meet again. Bye.